Okay, and here we are. I'm excited. This is my first NGS cast. I don't know why I'm nervous because I've casted like a ton of times now and it's not a big deal, but I don't know. I am. But we're in the lobby here and we can just take a second to go over what happened with the map bans and picks here. We did have Rise and Grind win that coin toss. So let's take a look at these map selections real quick.
Oh, we're live.
Yeah.
I was staying quiet still, like. Okay.
It's all good.
I'm saying it now on stream that I'm just like.
So here we are. We have Rise and Grind on the right, one more fight on the left here, and Rise and Grind decided to ban out Battlefield of Eternity and Alterac Pass. And one more fight taking out Towers of Doom and Volskaya, and we are going to Infernal Shrines for our first map picked by Rise and Grind.
You know, Jazzy, it is exciting because today is the first day of Season 10 for NGS, and Division D is spicy. So I'm excited to see what these teams have to hold. We have no stats on them. It's a clean slate, and it's crazy.
Yeah, and totally new players for me as well. I mean, you cast NGS for a while, so maybe these are some players you've seen participate in other seasons of NGS, but for me these are all new players, so I have no idea about hero pools or what we're gonna see brought out here, if they have some sneaky comps that they're gonna pull off, so I'm excited.
Yeah, within NGS typically you see a lot of target bans and not a lot of meta bans unless people don't know what to target ban, so we're excited.
All right, we are getting into this draft right here. So game number 1 of the best of 3 series between One More Fight and Rise and Grind. First game, Infernal Shrines. And here we are.
So Infernal Shrines, a 3-lane map with quite a few macro objectives. Definitely good to have a strong solo laner that can dip down into mid if needed. But it looks like the first ban we're going to see is a pretty comfortable tank for a lot of players, especially in Division D, and that's Johanna. Also, ETC getting banned out by Rise and Grind. Super strong right now with his Echo Pedal ability at 13. Another beefy boy, Blaze, getting banned out by One More Fight.
Sorry, I'm trying to fix my
no worries.
My mic, because apparently it's only coming through one ear for everyone, and I don't know how to fix that. I'm really sorry, guys.
Looks like Tassadar is the first non-tank bruiser ban. And the first mage picked up is that of Kel'Thas, Jazzy, for this map.
Okay, I think I figured it out, but chat, let me know if it's still messed up, but it should be sounding correct now. It looks like it's correct in OBS, but let me know if it's still wrong. Okay, just missing like the first half of the draft, fixing audio issues.
My blades are yours.
Just working the rust off.
Yeah.
Oiling the gears up. I don't know.
Life DG picking up that Brightwing, and Last Dispatch picking up Sonya. Interesting that they're taking their solo lane so early in the draft.
Yeah, I think maybe it's a comfort pick, or, you know, that's just what their comp is for this map, and the order doesn't necessarily matter to them. Sylvanas being picked up as the second damage dealer for the side of One More Fight, Muradin as the tank.
Yeah, typically, especially when you have last pick, I like to hold on to that solo lane option, because you get to basically see the entire comp on the left-hand side and counter the solo lane. So it's interesting that they picked it up as one of their first picks. Now that Rhaegar ban coming out on the side of Rise and Grind.
It must be a target ban, maybe on the healer on the side of One More Fight, because I don't I don't know. Rhaegar, he offers some great utility with his slows and his ability to work on camps and stuff, but I wouldn't. It's just an odd healer band to me right now, especially with the state of Bloodlust.
Yeah, I think since the nerf to Bloodlust, not as meta of a healer, still very viable healer to choose though. But yeah, even they don't have a Bloodlust comp or anything, so if they took Rhaegar, they're drafting it probably just to have the ancestral heal.
We have the final ban from One More Fight being that of Vala. So we're going to see 2 more pickups for Rise and Grind. Arthas and Orphea, Jazzy.
Oh, I kind of like these pair together. You know how nice it is to be able to land just a big juicy chomp on those rooted targets from the Arthas?
Not personally, but I can only imagine it. I can only imagine it. Okay, so a lot of high damage coming out. Ooh, the boops are real. Lucio picked up for healer and Leoric.
I can't wait to see whether this Leoric does Entomb or if we're going to be seeing a March.
Yeah, I'm curious as well.
I think they could definitely pull off Entombs if they wanted to, but it's a little tricky because the thing with Orphea is her Q is like a teleport, so if you are in the Entomb and just land a Q, you just like boop out the side of it, you know? So
Yeah. Oh, Cassia.
Yeah.
All the way here. Here we are with Cassia. Okay. So interesting comps for both teams. I think One More Fight has a more like typical comp, you know, and Rise and Grind to me with that Arthas main tank is heavily reliant upon the damage dealers getting those kills quickly, especially with that polymorph from Brightwing. It is Division D, so we will see a lot of non-meta talents and stuff like that. So I'm just curious to see how they play this map. But Jazzy and chat, which team do you like better?
I think it's going to come down to how these teams play together, because I think either way, if they can call their targets and focus them down, it's down to communication for me. Yeah, like Sonya, really great pick here. She can just heal on the shrines for forever. The only really interrupt they have for her is Muradin. Maybe he takes Skullcracker and has a little bit extra interrupt, and Kael'thas Gravity Lapse to stop her from spinning. So she might be able to just kind of sit in the back line, heal up there. But, I mean, I don't know. Sylvanas Kael'thas can definitely get some work done. And it's Division D, so I'm not sure how impactful bombs are going to be on the Kael'thas, so that's another thing to consider here.
True.
But here we are, game number 1 of our best of 3 series between One More Fight and Rise and Grind. On the left, we have Rise and Grind with Lord Gaiac on the Kael'thas, Echo playing Muradin, Newton Rocks on Sylvanas, Mistletoe on Lucio, and we have Midnight Fire on the Leoric.
And on the red side, playing for Rise and Grind, we have Azrael Abyss on Orphea, Life DG on Brightwing, Brother Nature on Arthas, Eris playing the Cassia, and on Sonya in the offlane, we have Lost Dispatch. Season 10 hype. Also Div D East hype and Crushinator, thank you for the raid.
Thank you so much, Crushinator. Appreciate that. Looks like teams didn't even want to bother doing a brawl in the middle. They just both kind of stood back, and now they're picking up the soak safely. One More Fight, getting that 4-man rotation going on. Echo making sure to catch vision through the middle just in case something sneaky is happening on the side of Rise and Grind, so I like to see that.
Yeah, throwing out his roots occasionally. It looks like he is stacking Frost Presence with 1 stack currently.
Yeah, really not, like, pretty standard gameplay here. Teams deciding to do the rotation. We even have One More Fight picking up that siege camp right now in the middle on their side of the map.
Yeah, I mean, that's a typical gameplay, but it looks like we're going to see Rise and Grind consider an invade here. Completely thwarting the attempts of the left side. Maybe not. It looks like Brother Nature on that Arthas is lit up by the KT. Trying to make it out. Echo chasing. Here comes the phase shift from Brightwing. And we're going to see one more fight just continue and get their siege camp chassis.
Yeah, tried for the invade, didn't quite work out, but no death, so they're really not too far behind on XP here. Pretty even, and they could look to pick up theirs now, or maybe just clear out mid. Murden getting polyed here. Chomp from the Orphea coming out. Q landing onto him. He jumps out, makes it out here. Lucio trying to get out, and he's going to manage to back off there. And again, no kills, so it's a lot of just back and forth, but everyone's escaping.
Yeah, luckily he had his dwarf toss. He was able to get out. Orphea was chunking him, but what's more concerning is how low Arthas was on health and mana. And he still is, and he's bought alone. Looks like Lucio's stepping up to him. He's having to get behind his own wall and use his tap.
One more fight, looking to pick up that bottom siege camp now. Meanwhile, Leoric is rotated down to catch that mid soak for them, so they don't have to worry about missing anything mid while they go for this camp. But it's not going to be for free. Rise and Grind here, coming in to try and stop them on this camp. Arthas on the point, looking to target down Sylvanas here. She manages to Banshee out, just barely, and Muradin jumping out as well. Again, everyone escaping with their lives here for now, and they did manage to steal that camp in the bottom.
Excellent play by Rise and Grind. I mean, 2 members of One More Fight were very low. It was good to see them take that. But Brother Nature seems to be in a bit of trouble, taking a lot of damage. He will fall here. Maybe overstayed his welcome a bit. Looks like Brightwing has the right idea. She's heading towards the siege. Sonya stepping in to help. And both teams are just looking for level 7 right now. The shrine is active top, though.
Yeah, very even on XP, even with that pick, though, and the camps that have been going out. They're really keeping up with one another here.
We will see One More Fight possibly have to consider clearing up the siege camp that is mid. Looks like Sylvanas and Muradin, as well as KT, have moved up to top lane. Just the Orphea there for now. The rest of Rise and Grind making their way to the shrine. 8 skeletal defenders for the side of One More Fight as they step on contest.
Arthas just walking straight into the back line here. Lots of damage going out onto Sylvanas. We have Sonya just spinning and trying to retreat now that that's down. But they're pumping off enough damage to make the back line have to back out and stay out of this fight here. And now they need to heal up or do something if they want to get back on this shrine. I'm not sure if they have taps up or if they're just waiting for Lucio to do what he can. But it looks like they're going to try and engage here. Sonya and Brightwing split from their team up near the top of the shrine. We have Kael'thas and Sylvanas trying to focus them down, but Orphea and Arthas straight back up onto the shrine to kind of zone them out here. Arthas just really aggressive, getting in there. Orphea as well, looking to get that Sylvanas pick. We have the stun land onto her. There's a lot going on in these team fights here.
Yeah, Orphea is just flopping her wet noodle around. It's crazy. It's chunking people, but no one is dying. And 3 members of One More Fight are just so low. They cannot contest. We have 34 out of 40 skeletal defenders for the side of Rise and Grind. And this whole time that siege camp has been pushing mid. Did not hit any structures yet, but the Orcs decided to go down and deal with that. And this first Arcane Punisher, first Punisher of the game, goes over to Rise and Grind.
Yes, I'm a little concerned for One More Fight. They don't have a ton of CC to lock down that Orphea, just kind of kiting. Coming in for those chomps and then queuing out and away and all around. They just have the Muradin stun, and if they aren't able to really follow up that stun right away and secure the kill on her, she can be pretty slippery with her self-sustain.
Yeah, and that's exactly what she was doing on that top shrine. Super slippery, just queuing, backing up, looking for another queue, getting that. I mean, Lucio's boop can only do so much as well, and unless we have a gravity lapse to follow up and stun by Muradin, she's just gonna roam freely, waltzing throughout their entire team.
We have Sonya on that bottom siege camp right now. The rest of Rise and Grind picking up the bruisers in the top lane. I'm curious to see whether Leoric realizes she's here, but it looks like he doesn't. He's gonna back off. Just let her take that camp. And one more fight looking to push in top a little bit.
There was a massive tussle top. Eris nearly lost her life on that Cassia. I did see the gravity lapse used, and it was almost devastating. But we're going to see a defense from 3 members of Rise and Grind against this push. Both teams are looking for 10, though, and I mean, if One More Fight's going to do this, they do have 10s now. They really need to do something big because they have camps in every lane pushing.
Those are 10s picked up, though, and we have Wailing Arrow from the Sylvanas, Entomb from Leoric, Avatar from Muradin, Sound Barrier from the Lucio, and Kael'thas still holding on to his level 10. Maybe considering going the Pyro, but with a Brightwing, a little tricky since you have the Spell Armor.
Yeah, Phoenix might be good for the zoning. Especially if an Entomb is landed. It could be a lot, but not really sure.
Level 10s. Oh, God.
Rotation though from Rise and Grind.
Level 10s are also picked up on the side of Rise and Grind now.
Yeah, and for
lots
those
of people
ultimates,
holding on to their 10s here.
Yeah,
I'm kind of interested to see what happens.
Looks like Cassia picked up Valkyr with Blink Heal from the Brightwing, Army of the Dead from Arthas, Leap from Sonya, and Crushing Jaws from that Orphea. There is the Phoenix pickup by KT though.
Yeah, I mean, I always just feel like Phoenix is the safer option. Like, there's a lot of tools that can help someone survive through a Pyro. It's a slow-moving ability. I mean, it's definitely devastating to squishies, but when you have Spell Armor from the Brightwing to save you, maybe it won't work as well here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if the only viable target would really be that Arthas with how chunked he's getting. Like a point blank Pyro might work for him, but other than that, I think Phoenix is the right choice. There's the Valkyr. It does not connect with any member of One More Fight. And this second shrine is active. It looks like it's going to be a mortar shrine.
One More Fight deciding to just start that up right away. Already got 8 little minions off of it done. Arthas once again just stepping up into that backline, pops his Army of the Dead. Now Sylvanas leaps into the backline. We have the Sound Barrier come out from Lucio, Crushing Jaw connecting onto the Orphea. Well, she's silenced, but wasn't able to kill anything with that. Sylvanas barely escaping with her knife. Now Lucio looking like he's in a little bit of trouble. Meanwhile, there's a little skirmish going on up here between the Leoric and the Orphea. Right. He landed the Entomb on her, but not enough damage. Like, everybody had back off from the fight, so no damage there to follow up with that Entomb. We are 17.
There was like no clear target.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. That's what I'm saying. Is that these fights are really going to come down to who can focus targets. Again, Kael'thas getting turned on by the Arthas. Arthas now taking tower damage. He looks like he's going to fall here.
Yeah, he absolutely does fall. And here comes Sylvanas fleeing into the enemy team. Muradin also using Warp Toss. Brightwing using her Blink Heal to safely get away. And there's the Valkyr. It does connect. Orphea getting a massive chomp, taking out the Kael'thas. Lucio follows next. But Orphea herself has died. This is just wacky.
Yeah, and only 6 more minions needed off this shrine for one more fight before they have this secured. Sylvanas going with that level 13 reset for her Banshee, so she was able to E in and back out there, but Sonya had leap back up and she does fall, but they do manage to secure that Punisher. Unfortunately, with Sylvanas dead, though, you don't have that trait to turn off the forts and keeps with this Punisher push. So it looks like they're just going to let this Punisher push by itself and maybe go soak their lanes and pick up maybe camps or other things in other parts of the map.
Right. They did manage to get down the towers and wall before the Punisher phase, so at least it is hitting the structure a little. It has now jumped onto the front line. And it's just melting. Looks like the fort may still fall, though, considering... No, the fort will not fall. I was going to say considering no one's there defending it, but that's literally the team defending the fort, Jazzy. Hey, everyone.
So meanwhile, while that was going on, one more fight did pick up their bruiser camp now. Leoric pushing top the entire time, so they're ready to start a little bit of sieging here, but I think they're just going to rotate down, maybe look to pick up their siege camp, clear up bottom. Or even maybe go for the fight here and secure the bottom fort. Orphea way in the back line. Crushing Jaw connects onto 3 members of one more fight. But is it going to be enough to save her? She's getting chunked pretty quick here. Sylvanas just looking to chase her down with her Banshees, and she does fall. Muradin goes in, lands the stun onto the Bright Wing. She manages to blink heal out, and now they're just looking to retreat here as Sylvanas' arrow comes out and connects onto them, but it's not quite enough to secure the kill, and they have shut down this bottom fort now and are looking to siege this in and take that.
Clutch blink heals from Life DG. Brother Nature, though, stepping in probably when he doesn't have to. Just give up the fort, move on. That was an excellent rotation by the side of One More Fight, though. Catching the team of Rising Grind outnumbered, got them that kill, and it is really asserting dominance on their part.
All right, the siege camp picked up for One More Fight here. Next, Punisher is top again. So a little bit more of an advantage right now for One More Fight when that spawns in, because they still have their fountain up there. Looking for that invade. Muradin does manage to jump onto the point before it's secured. Arthas now being the focus here, getting chunked down, but Orphea in that backline once again just kind of getting away with whatever she wants, and Cassia fending in, manages to get the pick onto the Lucio, and down goes Sylvanas as well. So that's a 3-for-1 and a camp. Worth it?
Yeah.
Questionable.
No, I mean, they're both inexperienced, but I don't know if the camp invades are always the call. I mean, or at least that fight wasn't the call. Blue team did manage to pick that camp up, but it's just it's a little bit risky. Not necessarily worth it. You know, the Valkyr missed again, and I'm almost thinking, seeing how clustered these fights are, if Ball Lightning wouldn't have been a better pick.
Yeah, I'm not sure who she wants to use it on. Like, I guess the Kael'thas is really the only target. I feel like a Lucio or Sylvanas, if they don't have their target focus really on lock, that they'll be able to just E out or speed boost, sound barrier themselves out kind of thing. But yeah, you're right. These fights are very clumped, and I feel like the lightning ball could have got some value here.
Looks like we are seeing Rising Grain on the pursuit of Blue Team. Heading over to their side, there is the Valkyr connecting onto the KT with a Crushing Jaws follow-up. KT follows Echo, having to Dwarf Toss out. And Red Team is really pushing Blue back onto their side of the map, trying to get onto this point. With having that KT down, they're in a really good position to get a great start to this.
I feel like Eris just heard us talking about Valkyrie and was just like, I'll show you. Here's a Valkyrie on KT right now.
This is how it's supposed to go. Okay. And then the Crushing Jaws just clamp right around it in a perpendicular fashion.
All right, I love One More Fight for this. It's very frustrating when you have a Sylvanas on your team and you're just like, okay, we can't get value here, but I have Sylv and we can shut down forts. Let's go do it, and no one follows. So I love the call. They're going to manage to secure mid-fort in turn for that Kael'thas kill while the rest of them finish up the Punisher up top. Maybe even going for this bottom camp before they head to defend.
They're just willing to completely give up their top fort and get value in other lanes. Excellent job at picking up that mid fort, though. They are backing to defend. I don't know how far this Punisher will make it. It is already at 90%, you know, just chunking down this fort. Both teams at level 18. It does jump onto the Lucio, though, and there's the Valkyr, and bye-bye, Lucio.
Yeah, just got a little too close to the danger zone there, that Lucio. And again, the Valkyrie getting value.
Yeah. All we have to do is say something about it. And
yeah,
then
exactly.
Get the max value for the rest of the game. We'll love to see it. And this Punisher is going to fall here, but the wall and towers are down with a little bit of damage to that keep. Orphea trying to back right here. Uh-oh,
Sonya.
Oh, okay, Sonya. Sorry, the blonde
hair. The pink skin and blonde hair, I know, yeah.
They're
still looking to fight. Look at this flank from the Orphea. Crushing Jaw's going out. Sylvanas juking it, though, but it doesn't matter because it looks like she's going to be able to catch up with the Q, but no. Big stun from Kael'thas, saving the Sylvanas, and Muradin doing all he can with the Leo to try and zone them off and keep his team alive, and no picks there. That was just great peel out from the side of One More Fight. Very, very well played.
It was crazy. The Entomb was trapping the entire enemy team, and they are still looking to do something here. Here comes Wailing Arrow as they just finished the Bruiser camp they were trying to steal, and they're having to back up and run for their lives. They are outnumbered with Sonya bottom lane, 4 members versus the 5 chasing on the side of one more fight.
Yeah,
Okay,
unfortunately, they're just not able to catch anyone there, but shutting down that top fort and going for it. They still had a vision of Sonya because she's clearing minions on the bottom lane, so they know it's kind of safe here that it's a 4v5 in their favor.
Nature does get caught into the Entomb top lane. The phase shift comes out, and it does save his life. There is the Valkyrie on to the KT who uses his shield. Lucky for him, but this Orphea is all up in the mix, Jazzy, and she does fall. It's not enough damage to follow up to get those kills. Excellent healing by Lucio. And this is now a point in the game where death timers are high, and this assault on this top keep could be devastating, not having all 5 members to defend.
Yeah, Sylvanas trait should be back up any second now. They did want to try and shut down the keep and go for it, but I think that they're just going to back off now. You don't want to throw at this point because objectives coming up soon. Level 20s are hit for both sides, and like you said, death timers are back up, so if they do take a team fight here under the keep, they could turn the tides of the game for them right now because they're sitting in a pretty good position going into this next objective. They have that mid well still up, they have their mid fort still up, next Punisher's mid, and they've already cleaned out the mid fort.
Ooh, there is the trade from Sylvanas. 9 seconds until Orphea's up. Phoenix comes out, there's Valkyrie catching the KT, the leap from Sonya coming in, and this is an Entomb with 3 members caught, 3 members of the red team taking so much damage. Brother Nature so low. Cassia hanging on by a thread. No one is dying though, Jazzy. Everyone is just getting away with it, living. And I cannot believe this did
big crushing jaws coming out, connecting onto 2 members of one more fight. But again, it looks like they're just all gonna walk away. So many times with these fights, everybody's gotten so close to dying here, but somehow everyone lives. They just back off and they're just okay, you know?
Yeah, Cassia was at no health forever and still fighting. It's crazy. I think, I don't know what communication sounds like from both teams, but you know, I think with just one shot call of kill that Cassia, we could have seen just a completely different outcome there.
Arthas right in there again, just getting focused down. We have the Valkyrie connecting onto Leoric. Unfortunately, Sylvanas gets caught out there and she does go down, and Tomb comes out landing onto the Sonya. Arthas still in this back line, just trying to do what he can with the Cassia there to help him out. Brightwing coming in to blink heal and try and save her. But yeah, they managed to get that pick onto Sonya, and now they're just turning back up onto the shrine and looking to disengage from these fights. Brightwing using that teleport to heal up her team, so they're in a good position if they try to re-engage here.
Orphea kind of hanging off to the side. The leap from Sonya was pretty devastating on the Sylvanas, and the Entomb has to be buried alive as members caught inside were silenced.
Yes,
but
yeah.
this is going to go over to the side of Rise and Grind. Siege Camp picked up though from one more fight mid lane, which will need to be cleared, I guess, before they push forward with the Punisher.
They also picked up that bottom siege camp as well, so they have Kata pressure in the top lane, and they're going to have a camp and periodic Katas in the bottom, so Sonya is there to defend that. So this will be, for the moment, a 4v4 defend, but Sylvanas is up in just a few seconds here, so 5v4 defend, and we'll see how it goes. The Punisher, a little bit of stun onto the Murd in there, break it down coming out, and Tomb landing onto the Brightwing and Orphea. They're now silenced in the back, but that falls down without anyone managing to get a pick off of it. Leo just looking to Wraith walk out of here now, getting quite low. Sylvanas just juked that Punisher? Did you see that?
I did. It's wacky, and this Punisher falls here. We are at a 20-minute game, level 21 for both teams. Sonya looking to go clear that camp bottom lane, so if red team does get caught out, they will be outnumbered, but it looks like maybe they're deciding to stick together. It's probably the best idea at this point in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. This really just comes down to who wins this last team fight. If Rise and Grind can pull off a win, they can just decide to push either through mid or top and try to end the game with the death timers where they are now. Even easier for one more fight if they win this next team fight. Top's already opened up and they can just run it down there.
Yeah. They have a lot going for them. I'm sure they are just keeping their eyes on those macro objectives and the timers. Everything is on cooldown, about 15 seconds for the upper right.
And Tomb landing onto Arthas here, but he just kind of pushed the Leoric right out of there. Valkyrie once again connecting onto the Kael'thas, crushing draw coming out, and that will be Kael'thas falling. Arthas now looking to try and retreat here. Sylvanas Banshee's in, looking to go back out now. Meanwhile, Sonya just spinning to win on the back line here. Lucio's now speed boosting them away. They're just trying to run away, but he gets caught by the root from Arthas. Let's see if the rest of this team can make it out now. Leo and Murden should be okay, and Lucio's got that speed boost, so he's okay as well. They do have to back up to clear that top lane out because bruisers have been pushing in during that team fight, and they have their own bruisers to pick up as well, which looks like that's what they're going to do here.
Yeah, picking that up, clearing near core is the call. If they want to take the W here, they're really going to have to win a team fight.
Look at this Leo, just kind of keeping eyes on who's doing this camp, what's going on over here. No fear. Now they, again, one more fight, a little bit more favorable for this objective. They still have that bottom fort up, and they have their well there again. So if they do take a fight, get low enough, and need to turn around and tap, they have that option. Rise and Grind does not. In fact, they have the whole bottom wall off the bottom keep, but this is looking a little spooky. Lucio getting cut off from his team. He's just speed boosting his way out of there. His leap connects onto him. Still looking to try and run away, but gets caught in the root, and now the rest of the team is here to show up. He's just barely making it out. We have an Entomb coming out, connecting onto the Sonya, but Leo is just looking to run away right away. We have the Sound Berry coming out, and it looks like they're just going to try to disengage, heal up, and get ready in a position to go for next Shrine.
Jesse, that was an excellent zoning Entomb by the Leoric, keeping Rise and Grind out. And that would have been a certain death for Lucio there.
And that's not the first time we've seen him pull out Entombs like that. When they flanked in the top lane earlier, he did a really nice Entomb up there that saved his team as well. Picking up the bottom siege camp here. Arthas came to check it out, but wasn't fast enough. Leo clearing out that bruiser camp. If he gets that cleared and then they come down for the shrine, they're going to have some nice cata pressure in the top lane. And, you know, you can play it a little bit slower because it's no rush for you, it's a rush for them. They're the ones that need to get this done fast. So I can expect Rise and Grind to be forcing this shrine a little bit harder than one more fight here. They do manage to get a gravity lapse onto that Arthas there. Sonya in the back line. It looks like she's being turned on by the most of the team, but she's going to be able to get out. Murden, meanwhile, in the back line of Rise and Grind, pops the Entomb. We have the Wailing Arrow come out. Entomb connecting onto two members, but Orphea manages to sneak out, but it's not going to be enough. She goes down as well, and that's two members of Rise and Grind falling here. And now it's time. One more fight can look to get this shrine, clear out that bottom keep, and look for an end here.
Those living bombs are just wreaking havoc on the entire team of Rise and Grind. Just spread over and over, slowly whittling them down. It's too much for Brightwing to keep up with, and unlucky for Brightwing, when she does blink in, she has a chance of getting the bomb herself and then spreading it to her teammates if she uses her blink heal again. It's very precarious, but yeah.
Yeah, a little tough to heal with Brightwing, especially with the Entomb too, because the target that gets caught in the tomb is going to probably need healing. But you don't want to blink in there or TP in there because you're going to end up in a silence as well. Just a little bit of a tricky situation to play around there.
So this keep is very low. Will fall. 9 seconds on Orphea until she comes up, and 3 for Arthas. They can still defend here. It's a very strong Punisher. There is the Leap and the Entomb. Sonya is silenced. There's a massive cleanse, and Brightwing is actually the one to fall. Sonya taking so much damage will fall as well. And now we have a healthy Punisher. All 5 members of one more fight just on this core, with red team just taking so much damage. The core is at 50% Jazzy, and that's 3 members down on Rise and Grind as this core falls and is at 10%.
That's gonna be
all of a sudden at 0.
Game number 1. GG, going over to the side of one more fight. Those team fights quite insane. Like, so much back and forth in there. You never really knew who was going to come out on top. Great to see.
I mean, look at these kills. 11 to 11. It was even in kills. But, I mean, there could have been so many more, I feel, if the follow-up was there. It was crazy. I think ultimately what won this game for One More Fight was them taking those risks and deciding, okay, if we're not getting the Punisher, we're going to take a structure anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the calls coming out from the side of One More Fight. Every time that they would lose that team fight on the objective, they would look for places on the map that they could go and grab value somewhere else. And it worked out really well for them because even though they might have lost a Punisher here or there, they were able to secure forts and open up the map enough that when they finally did win that last Punisher, it was basically going straight to core. Bottom keep was pretty much dead at that point. So very, very well played. I like those calls coming out from the side of One More Fight. Little kudos to Cassia there. As soon as we started questioning the Valkyrie, she was popping off with those Valkyries left, right, and center and did end the game with 116k damage. So that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's quite a bit coming out from her.
No deaths either during all of that.
Yeah, crazy with as in there as she had to be, especially against the Kael'thas. She did take bomb off of the Arthas quite a few times and survived. So shout outs to Brightwing too with only the one death.
All right, let's pop back over to this map selection screen for a second here. So that first game on Infernal Shrines, that was picked by the Rise and Grind. However, One More Fight pulling out the win here. For game number 2, we're just waiting to hear what this map is going to be. What are you hoping for, Slexia?
I can't remember what was banned.
We have Battlefield of Eternity and Alterac banned by Rise and Grind, and Towers of Doom and Volskaya banned by One More Fight.
Cursed Hollows, always a fun map.
Tomb's still up and available to take as well.
Oh yeah. I mean, with the way that Leoric was playing with those Entombs, it would be great to see it on that map. I think that's one of the best ways to play. I don't know. I wonder if we'll see a Hanamura game, as that is the new map this season.
Interesting.
Sky Temple is no longer in the map pool.
All right, we're just waiting for this lobby to come up. Yeah, I think their bans are really interesting, though. These are all maps that I typically don't mind playing. We do have that map pick coming out. It looks like Rise and Grind has decided to go with first pick, so One More Fight is taking us to Dragonshire.
Okay.
All right. Just take a second. Thank you, everyone, for dropping by and listening to my first NGS cast. I really appreciate it. Brando, Corix, how are you? Clumsy, Pie Man, Dax is in here. Luminaire, Tenchi.
Everyone, all the popular people. Wow, hello. All right, looks like you're in the lobby. Let me join you.
I apologize for not flipping over to my cameras very often. It's like over 100 degrees here today. And I don't have AC, so I'm just really hot and avoiding showing my face as much as possible. But it's nice. We got some nice overlays here for you guys to see some information about what's going on in these games. So yeah. NGS has their stuff all on point to get this all looking good. So do you think we're going to see some more target bans going forward? Because I'm thinking those Kael'thas bombs were a little bit much. And maybe that'll be taken away. And
if that's a comfort pick, I would definitely get rid of it. I would consider banning the Cassia.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say next. Those Valkyries were hitting left, right, and center, and just every single time it seemed to be on a target that was easily killable too, and put their team in a really sticky situation where they just had to go on the retreat. And she's just pumping out the damage, so definitely something I would consider banning as well. Wono says, it's so nice to have you casting NGS, Jazzy. Thank you.
Hi, Wono. Love Wono.
Nice.
He's amazing.
It's nice to be casting NGS.
You know, one thing that I don't think I was too fond of was the Arthas main tank. I'd like to see something a bit beefier.
Oh,
It
you
didn't
disappeared.
necessarily not work. What?
Oh, I just switched over to us, but the Discord was being silly.
Oh, don't show me. No, please.
Yeah, I feel that Arthas right now, just where he is, he's a little bit rough to tank with. He feels very easy to kill. I don't know. He's definitely not my favorite tank. I would say more situational. Like maybe if you have something like an Artanis or a Greymane that you're looking to kind of like root when they come in. But for the most part, yeah, I think a little rough right now in the meta to tank with him. But you know, I think also that Rise and Grind was kind of doing okay playing off of him. The Orphea was following up with Chomps, and you had the a lot of roots landing onto people like the Lucio when he's trying to escape. So like the skill's definitely there. It's just I'm not sure how good Arthas is right now in this meta.
Right. Yeah. I agree. I'm going to let them know that we're ready so we can get into the second draft. If we see blue team one more fight, take the dub here, then they win this whole set tonight.
Yeah, best of 3 series, so absolutely correct there. One more fight takes this win, and that'll be the series done for the evening. But maybe, just maybe, Rise and Grind can pull out a win here.
With first pick, though, who will they take? Is it the Cassia? If it's not banned, I would pick it. With that kind of damage, hello?
Yeah, you know what's interesting too, thinking back to the first draft, is they took that Cassia and Orphea, but those weren't their first picks, and those are typically picks that you see pretty early on in the drafts right now.
Right.
They took
Cassia made it to the last pick.
They actually took the Sonya and Brightwing first. So maybe one more fight was like, oh, we don't have to worry about banning Cassia. They would have picked her already. And then, you know, in comes the last pick, Cassia, that nobody thought was going to happen.
Right. ETC banned out again by the side of Rise and Grind. Good ban. He is super powerful right now, and it's just good to not have him. He can go stage dive or mosh on this map and make quite an impact. Curious if we will see the Johanna ban again from team One More Fight. There it is, Jazzy.
Yeah, sticking with those same bans again. I don't know if the teams have like their tank mains are really comfortable on the ETC or Joe, if they're just banning them out because those tanks are typically played in the meta right now.
I am guessing it is more of a target ban for the Johanna. I'm not sure about the ETC. It could just be because of the whole Echo Pedal situation for him with that level 13 talent. There is the respect ban. Leoric will not be played by One More Fight again. Pretty decent respect ban, I'd say. On this map, though, offlane, I mean, is so important.
Yeah, I don't know how much value an Entomb Leo would get on this map because you're not as often with the team. Maybe post 10, though. But he was landing some beautiful Entombs that saved his teammates a few times in that last match. So yeah, I definitely see where they're coming from with that ban. I'm still surprised that the Kael'thas was left up. But maybe they didn't figure it was as much of a threat.
Sorry to interrupt, but I was going to say, Jazzy, this is the map where if you get first pick, you want to ban or take Rexxar, and Rise and Grind took it. Got that Rexxar.
I'm really excited to see what One More Fight picks up for their solo lane now to try and counter that Rexxar and win the lane up top. Definitely a more challenging solo laner to go up against on a map where you have to hold a point like this, because basically what Rexxar can do is make you choose between missing soak in your lane or capping the point, because if you'll leave Rexxar in the lane to soak all the minions and push it up to the gate while Misha's on the point, and then you have the other solo laner now deciding, should I soak this wave that's like right at my gate already or try and contest the point because my bottom team needs someone on a point or we're gonna lose this dragon. So
right. Oh my god, this is spicy.
Woo! It's too hot here for this.
It's a Mal'Ganis and Kel'Thuzad. Hopefully his icy chains will cool you down. all the way from the Nexus where you're at, Jazzy. I don't know. Please, no one clip that. That's embarrassing. And there's the Cassia ban.
Yeah, I can't say I'm surprised at all by that Cassia ban. They still need somebody that brings some auto attack damage to these fights. Eris hasn't picked up their hero yet, so Cassia definitely still an option for Rise and Grind there. I think it's really smart at one more fight to pick that for their ban. Mal'Ganis Kel'Thuzad together.
Are we gonna see a Kel'Thas ban possibly? Like,
Oh,
no, it's Li Ming instead. Okay, so maybe that mage is more threatening.
I feel like a Mal'Ganis and a Kel'Thuzad together is going to be very annoying. Just think about landing like sleeps on a couple members, and it's such easy combos for the Kel'Thuzad to land. Yeah, I'm excited to see how this plays out.
You're gonna need some high damage from the side of one more fight, and here we see Vala picked up alongside that KT again. Instead of banning the KT, the Li Ming was banned, so it looks like maybe they're not too concerned with it.
Yeah, I guess not.
Also to point out, Jazzy, Life DG was playing the Brightwing last game. Brother Nature was the Arthas, and now we're seeing a switch of roles here.
A lot of role switches, apparently, unless we're going to see some swaps here in a second, because Eris, who's the Cassia, picking up the Stukov. And we have Abyss on the Raynor.
Very flexible team from Rise and Grind, unless they're doing swaps before it starts. But I'm guessing that they just are flexing a bit. And we're going to see the offlane pickup. That will be Artanis against the Rexar.
Yeah, I see people doing this a lot now because he has that level 1 stacking talent, and you just sit on the bear and stack for days, basically, at that protector of our I don't know how to say it, but ever since his rework, I don't know. Personally, it's an interesting matchup. I've played it on both sides as the Rexar and the Artanis. I think if you just take the healing for your bear on auto attacks, it kind of helps you sustain through it for the most part in the early game. It's just like late game, he gets real big damage out, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of big damage, I mean, Rhaegar can barely keep up with healing in the early game, but having that cleanse with the KT on the other team is going to be super important for one more fight here. And I'm excited to see how it pans out as we get into game 2 of this best of 3.
Me too. I'm excited to see whether he maybe opts to go Bloodlust or if he's just going to go with the Ancestral, because I feel like they have the single target blow up damage that an Ancestral might be very good here, but they have the Vala Artanis for auto attack damage, and if Artanis is getting big stacks, I don't know, Bloodlust might really hurt in the late game.
It very well could. All right, let's introduce these teams, Jazzy. Who do we have?
All right,
on
the left-hand side, one more fight with Mistle Teen on the Rhaegar. Newton Rocks on that Muradin, the Vala, Echo on Muradin, Lord Gaiac on the Kael'thas, and Artanis played by Midnight Fire.
And on the red side, playing for Rise and Grind, hoping to get a W here to take us to game 3. We have Eris playing Stukov, Life DG on Mal'Ganis, Brother Nature on KTC, Azrael Abyss on Raynor, and Last Dispatch on Rexar.
Mal'Ganis going in and landing that stun, but everybody able to back up. Kael'thas wasn't quite ready to combo anything off of that there. But I will say so far he's been stepping up, no fear, trying to land these combos. Look at him walking right up to this gate here, trying to get some stacks onto the Kael'thas.
Yeah, crazy times. When I was announcing the teams, though, all I heard was Raynor's shotgun going off. And then I see Muradin chunked down. So if he's able to just stand there and shoot people, he's going to get a lot of value. But these mages are all up in the middle of these lanes on this rotation.
We do have one more fight, immediately picking up that siege camp when it came up here. And it looks like Kel'Thuzad also looking to grab the siege camp on the side of Rise and Grind with the help from Raynor here. A little bit behind one more fight, but both of them grabbing camps, typically a good idea in this phase of the game here.
If I remember anything from last game, it is the constant battle for camps, and I'm very surprised that we didn't see the invade for one more fight.
Lay waste to this forsaken kingdom.
I'm also excited just to see how this Mal'Ganis plays out in this match, because this is another tank that has kind of fallen off the meta. You don't typically see him picked too often, but I like the idea of pairing him with the Kel'Thuzad. It could definitely work out. Look at this. Chains landing onto the Kael'thas, followed up by the stun from the Mal'Ganis, but not quite able to land the follow-up chain onto anyone else.
Yeah, and this bottom point, though, is just being held by the side of one more fight. Red team able to hold the top one, though. So it's pretty back and forth. What's happening in the top lane?
We'll check it out in a second, but Mal'Ganis going and landing that sleep on a few members of the side of one more fight. I just want to see if that Kel'Thuzad is able to combo anything off it. Raynor really stepping up to try and secure some kills here. Doesn't quite work out, and they are going to be able to cap that bottom shrine. Meanwhile, I'm scared to leave because they just re-engage once again.
Yeah.
Muradin getting chunked, chains landing onto him, and that's first blood in favor of Rising Grind. Muradin falling there. Meanwhile, up top, Artanis just stacking on the barrier, but like I said, early game a little bit rough to hold that point. In the later game, is going to become much more difficult for this Rexer.
Ooh, bottom lane, this KT looking low, able to back out. Flames on the KTZ, but he's surrounded by his homies. And this Dragon Knight is available for pickup, but no one really comfortable enough to channel that quite yet.
Oh, Rhaegar kind of coming in a little bit out of position there, but it's okay. He manages to just dog walk right out of there.
The Dragon Knight shall reduce.
Meanwhile, Dragon is secured on the side of Rise and Grind, and here they come down towards the bottom fort to open that up. Yeah, I like this. I like getting that bottom fountain out. It allows you to create a little bit more pressure in the bottom lane and control the bottom lane a little bit easier if you don't have that fountain to tap. So I don't mind this call.
Right, and they are rapidly approaching level 7 as they got both of those towers down. The wall is finally broken. And will they reach 7 before this Dragon Knight expires? They are clearing this wave.
Ooh,
Dragon Knight not really
chain.
stepping up, and this chain is connecting. My God! Devastating as the dragon explodes just quite a bit to Muradin, who is finished off by the Raynor. Newton Rock's backing. And this looks to be possibly a free fort for the side of Rising Grind.
Yeah, very early for it as well, getting it right off the first dragon. A lot of the times, you know, first dragon doesn't really do much. You're able to have a good defense against it, and you know, it gets cleared out, and maybe you get a fort wall or something, you know? But
Yeah,
almost managing to take the entire bottom lane cleared up for them to go straight to keep for next time if they wanted to.
So instead of finishing off that fort, they decided to get the bottom bruiser camp. Their siege is available as well. One more fight did take the opportunity to pick their siege camp up to get that going out. We are having to see KTZ back, and curious, yeah, they will go for the siege. I was going to say, curious if they'll push outnumbered with the bruiser camp. Looks like they will not, and that will just be killed.
Taking a look at these talents here, Artanis currently sitting at 63 stacks on that level 1 quest. Kael'thas obviously went for those globes. He's had 8 of them, and Muradin is currently sitting on 4 stacks for his Q quest. We have the KTZ at 9 stacks on his baseline quest as well.
Both teams looking at picking up their bruiser camps right now before this next dragon phase. Does start in 28 seconds, and a whole level ahead we see Rise and Grind here looking to get 10. Looks like they will be able to possibly clear some waves, maybe have that for an advantage in the fight for the next Dragon Knight.
I'm looking at this top lane here because it looks like Stukov is kind of positioning to try and get this gank on the Artanis. We have the stun coming out from the bear connecting onto him. And here's Stukov with the slow. And KTZ showing up too, landing the root onto him. But just not quite enough damage to follow up there.
Yeah, it was just a rotation, I think, to clear the bruiser. Now that is pushing in favor of Rise and Grind with their level 10 advantage. They're able to channel this top shrine, just no problem whatsoever. Mal'Ganis, though, in the bottom lane is having a little bit of a problem. Struggling just a little bit.
And they need to be careful here, though, because like you said, level 10's already hit it on the side of Rise and Grind, and now they're looking to rotate down and catch them out here. Gravity Lab's connecting onto the Mal'Ganis, and he's now just getting chunked down by the Vala. So they're going to have to back off. But he does have that carry on Swarm if he needs to get out of a sticky situation.
Yeah, I would definitely be communicating to Rexar if I were the rest of Rise and Grind, because there is a massive rotation top lane from one more fight, Jazzy.
Yeah,
And,
fortunately, he had his bear sitting in the bush, so kind of had an idea of what was going on there. And he was sitting in a good position to back
Red
off,
team
but they do
has
lose
destroyed
that
a
bottom
fort.
fort on that rotation and didn't really get much out of it except for a cap momentarily in the top lane.
Both teams at level 10 now. Ultimates online. We do see Pyroblast this time with Rain of Vengeance. But hold on, here comes Mal'Ganis putting a sleep onto the Muradin, who was connected in chains to the Vala. The ultimate from KTZ comes out too, not landing a kill. Avatar was popped and just scattered damage. Not seeing any kills yet. Oh, Artanis going in for a swap. And
Now Rexar's about to cap that top shrine right now, so there's a rotation coming out from one more fight to go cap bottom, and they're just going to play a little bit of Ring Around the Rosie. Artanis top lane, though, a little bit overextended. He needs to be careful because there could be a rotation coming for him in just a moment, and that looks like exactly what's going to happen. Here comes the Rainer and the KTZ, stunned from the bear landing. This time, not as close to his gates as he'd probably like to be.
looking a little rough for him, Mal'Ganis. Just making sure that he can go nowhere at all. And that is now one member down for the side of one more fight. And Rise and Grind is hopefully looking to make their way to the bottom shrine, but perhaps they have sniffed or smelled the fact that one more fight was possibly looking at getting their siege. Instead of going for the shrine, they are having to defend this last tower. There's KTZ's combo, full ultimate coming out. Not really doing much of anything.
I know, he landed on that Muradin, and Muradin wasn't quite in the damage that he needed to be there, so a lot of that just a little bit off there, but he is stacking, sitting at 15 stacks now, so he's getting there.
Level 13's picked up now for Rise and Grind. If they do decide to step out, maybe they can do something here. There is the Rain of Vengeance from Vala landing onto the Mal'Ganis. Pyroblast also chasing after Mal'Ganis. He pops his ultimate, but is still running away from the ultimate, steps back into that Pyroblast. He's coming back for seconds, and KTC's ultimate just does so much damage to Vala and Muradin, who has to dwarf toss away. Vala mounting up, running, but it looks like KT is going to be caught here. Chains looking to reach Echo, but do not connect. Dwarf toss used again, and this time Rise and Grind will secure this bottom shrine once more, Jazzy. But one more fight does own the top shrine. No
For
Dragon
now,
Knight
yeah.
yet.
It definitely feels like Rise and Grind has a little bit more control over what's happening this match. And kind of just making one more fight, do the Ring Around the Rosie, try and cap these shrines without getting ourselves into fights here because we're a bit behind. They're going to grab their top bruiser camp, give a little bit more pressure in the top lane for Artanis. But yeah, the matchup between the Rexar and the Artanis not going as well as they maybe hoped here. But mind you, he's scaling, so
Right.
maybe it's going to get better.
These rotations are on point, though, from Rise and Grind. They know when to stick together. Midnight Fire playing that Artanis really can't step out. He can now that Rise and Grind has decided to rotate elsewhere. But this is a possible Dragon Knight, as only Echo is the one here to defend against Red Team picking it up. Unfortunately, Rhaegar and Kel'Thas have channeled bottom. So they're going to have to deal with these siege camps, also deal with the Artanis top. There's a bruiser camp pushing towards the side of Rise and Grind. There's just so much going on. Mal'Ganis is just waiting mid, hoping to possibly get the objective, but it looks like it's going to be a full-on team fight here.
Yeah, they don't have their tank here quite yet. A little bit of a scary situation for the side of Rise and Grind, but here comes the Mal'Ganis. The Pyro coming out is going to connect onto the KTZ, take away half his health bar. But no kills secured on either side down here, so it's just a 4v4. Talent tiers are equal. One more fight really needs to look to do something, because like I said, they are behind. Level 16s are going to be hit by Rise and Grind a lot earlier than for one more fight, and there it is. They get the pick on the KTZ. They can start to kind of turn around this game now, clear out the bottom and equalize in the bottom lane, you know?
Yeah, they can equalize the bottom lane, possibly send someone top to help maybe get a pick on that Rexar. Here comes Hyperion with counter pressure onto one more fight, trying to keep them from getting this fort. There's the stun from Muradin onto Mal'Ganis. Most likely just for stacking purposes, question mark. Yes, he is at 12 stacks currently. And all members are up again for one more fight. Siege camp is available. It looks like
Oh,
that's
here
where
comes
Bala
the
is
Rex
headed.
are getting a little bit caught in this rotation, but that's a 5v4 now. Sorry, this is a 4v4 now in the bottom lane with the Rexar joining. See if they're going to be able to cap this. Looks like they're just going to give bottom shrine.
Yeah, they allocated the Rexar to bottom lane. KTZ is up now. This will not be a Dragon Knight for the side of one more fight. Life DG, though, looking to go in, getting a sleep onto 2 members of Rise and Grind, and there is KTZ pumping out the damage with, oh my gosh, the Mal'Ganis just stunning and uprooting people for days. Bombs are spreading, but are people dying? Yes, we do see the Kel'Thas and Muradin fall. And that is what we needed to see from Rise and Grind here to be able to possibly get more footing on this map and take us to a game 3. If they can get a pick on that Artanis, channel the top, and get the Dragon Knight, they are in a good spot here.
Yeah, we've just seen a little bit more grouping coming out of the side of Rise and Grind to get these ganks to kind of push them a little bit ahead in these games. Rotations up onto the Artanis, and then Rexar also coming down to join his team and take 4v5s in the bottom lane while Artanis still at top or soaking other lanes. Let's see if we can get the interrupt here. And no, so this will be the Dragon Knight going over to the side of Rise and Grind.
It's just interesting both times to see the Rainer in it. He does have Hyperion available, which would help in the siege department as this Dragon Knight pushes this mid fort. But he's doing what he can. That is both towers down middle. Newton Rock's a little low on that Bala, and this Dragon Knight is just getting chunked, Jazzy.
Absolutely. Artanis getting caught in a KTZ combo, though, and getting quite low. Is going to have to back out. The Pyro went out, connected onto the KTZ, but not enough damage to kill him. He's pretty healthy going into that. Yeah, not too much happened with that dragon.
Right.
I'm going to see Siege Camp getting picked up now for the side of Rise and Grind. Just on a note, the Vala did take the spell armor at 13. Artanis, however, opted not to choose his spell armor ability. So that was an option up there that he could have taken to help him deal with these KTZ combos, but opted for, I believe it's at 13. Yeah, it's at 13, his spell armor. Instead he went triple strike.
Rise and Grind picking up that bottom bruiser again, sitting siege out. You know, bottom lane is pretty open with that fort down. Top fort is also down, and it looks like we're seeing Rise and Grind push this mid fort, taking the last remaining fort belonging to one more fight. They do have Bruiser pushing top though, so they most likely want to clear that and pick their Bruiser up. But rotating up there, they are risking losing their own bottom fort, Jazzy.
Absolutely, and that looks like that's exactly what's going to happen here. We do see one more fight going for this bottom fort, opening up the bottom lane now. It'll make it a little bit easier for them to contest down here, because if they do get that advantage, they're not dancing around a fort on the retreat.
But we do see Rise and Grind at level 19, approaching 20 as this next dragon phase, the shrines, will activate in 14 seconds. There are waves, they are pushed out a little bit. Bottom is kind of closer, but I think we're going to need to see something major from one more fight, as they are a little bit behind in this experience.
Yeah, if I was on the side of one more fight, I definitely want to start to look for a team fight now, because otherwise you're soaking 2 full levels before you can fight them again. And these rotations capping these points with no forts left, it really puts you in a vulnerable position here, being caught out trying to cap them without a fort to retreat to.
I don't know if anyone's going to get caught out, because both teams are just stacked together, not trying to rotate alone.
This might be the level 20 fight we're looking for. Unfortunately, I think that Rhaegar slow kind of gave away what they were trying to do here, and the entire side of Rise and Grind decided, we're good, we're not going to path through there.
Right, but they do have 20s now, so it is in their favor to possibly take a fight. Newton Rocks, though, being chased, having to use the Rain of Vengeance. Here comes Hyperion, and the blind from Artanis is used to kind of put Rise and Grind, I don't know, just calm them down a bit and stop chasing that Vala. But wave pressure mounting up in bottom lane, Jazzy.
Yeah, Rhaegar managing to cap that bottom shrine, and now we're probably just gonna look. I mean, Rise and Grind want the fight now. They're gonna be looking to make these aggressive rotations and see who they can pick. They are capping that bottom shrine. That means mid is gonna be up and available to cap in a second here. It looks like Artanis is gonna go top to cap the top shrine to deny them that cap, but it's gonna be a 5v4 in the mid lane if he goes up there right now.
There was the Bloodlust, I believe, coming out. Misha will fall. The KTZ, although was in bottom lane, is able to use his ult wherever he's at. Takes 2 members of one more fight out. A third member, Vala, does fall. KT as well. And Dragon Knight picked up. This could possibly be a game-ending Dragon Knight. Looks like they're taking it top to the Bridge of Death.
Interesting call to take it top here, but I mean, at this moment, there's like 45-second death timers. They have a lot of time. They can open up top if they want to. Typically, though, people avoid this bridge because it's super easy just to land a ton of AoE damage, especially when you have someone like a Kael'thas you're defending against and spread bombs in there. It's just a bad idea to go that way, but in this case, it doesn't really matter because the death timers are so long that that lane was the one pushed in the most, and they can just kill that keep and go straight to core.
Yeah, the core is rapidly falling. Hyperion comes out, and that will take us to a game 3, Jazzy. GG going over to Rise and Grind. Ooh, exciting.
Yeah, well played on the side of Rise and Grind. Way to bring the series to a game number 3 here. Yeah, the KTZ, man, a little scary. Just a little bit scary. I mean, Raynor pumped out a little bit more damage than the KTZ, but the combos really locked them down for Raynor to just secure any kills.
Right. I don't know. I think that the Rexar was an excellent pickup. They chose first pick, but we saw one more fight take us to Dragonshire, and that was a good call from them. Artanis could not keep up, and it just really helped pave the way for that W. They were ahead in talent tiers just consistently.
Like I said, I've played both sides of that matchup, and it really comes down to how the other player has played it, because I've played Artanis into Rexar on the top lane on that map, and I've had Rexar players who are afraid to stack me and just won't put their bear on the point, so I was able to hold the point the entire time. But I've played Rexar into Artanis's and put my bear on the Artanis, and you just end up winning. Although you do feed him a bunch of stacks in the early game, you end up, if you win the early game with dragons and open up the map, it ends up being for the better, maybe.
Yeah. And we look at the kills here. Last game, it was 11 to 11, and this game, it's 11 kills total, 1 to 10.
Yeah, very much more dominant showing from Rise and Grind this game in comparison to last. Not that they weren't dominant in the first, just that it was a lot more back and forth. This game, they kind of just showed up and said, this is our one to take, and we're going to game 3.
Yeah, and the healing numbers from the Stu Cobb. Like I said, Rhaegar was going to be a little light in the healing, but really just pretty low there. And I didn't really get to see much value from his cleanse or from Bloodlust, if I'm being honest. But I'm excited to see what they bring for game 3 as we wait for that final map pick.
Tenchi says Artanis might get stacked, but he's still Artanis. Yeah, I think that taking Ancestral here might have been the better call, just because you just had these targets getting burst down so quickly from the KTZ combos. Having that Ancestral heal just to pull him back up and keep him in the fight might have been a little bit more impactful than the Bloodlust. I noticed a couple of times when he did pop that Bloodlust, Vala was so low in the back and scared to step up to do any damage. And then the thing is you have to be able to step up to do damage while you're Bloodlusted, because that's what heals you. And it just wasn't working some of the time.
Yeah, she was constantly getting chained to the Muradin, and it wasn't working out. So it's too bad. I mean, they were able to burn the Dragon Knight pretty quickly. She did take Manticore, but she could not burst the team down fast enough before her entire team died.
All right. Well, we do have this game number 3 lobby set up. We are going to Tomb of the Spider Queen, and this is picked by the side of Rise and Grind. So it looks like One More Fight has decided to go with that first pick option, and Tomb of the Spider Queen over for Rise and Grind.
All right. Well, I'm excited. I'm curious if we'll just see the same tank bans to start the ETC, the Johanna. I would use that respect ban on the Leoric again. He's really powerful on this map, and he was played exceptionally well. But looks like we're going to wait a little bit. Chat, if you're here rooting for one team or another, let us know. I really can't decide at this point.
Yeah, both these games have just been very back and forth, very close. Either way, whoever wins this, I think it was well played all around tonight. And I'm excited to see how this series closes up.
Yeah. Also, like, who's going to be healing for side of Rise and Grind? Who's tanking? We just don't know. It could be anyone. They just are showing how flexible they are on heroes.
Absolutely. Just really mixing it up every game, so I'm excited to see what happens. It kind of looks like they're just like, okay, we're going to ban this person's DPS out. They'll just be like, well, I'll just play healer, and this person can bring out KTZ, and now what are you going to do?
I would definitely ban that KT, though. He's pretty strong on this map. A lot of opportunities to just get globes and globes for days, clear waves. Like, if not because there's a player that plays him, I'd ban it just because he's strong for this map, you know?
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to see that come out. They didn't really seem to think it was a problem going into game 2, and game 2 they kind of it wasn't an issue, so there's a chance that they just let the KT pick through. The KTZ, though, that's something I wouldn't want to deal with again. There's just
True.
when you get a KTZ on the enemy team, you just end up having to change your draft completely around it, because you're going to need some kind of like heroes with spell armor, some cleanses, something that can survive KTZ combos, basically. It's just annoying to play around.
Right. It can be very annoying, and it's just not something you're used to. You know, like once in a while you'll come across a KTZ1 trick and you'll maybe lose and you're like, oh, I don't want to do that again. I'll respect ban that if I see them.
Mm-hmm.
But in this competitive environment, I would agree they might want to
Coffee.
ban it. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I may have a KTZ player on my NGS team. But I don't know. Both teams are super on top of their macro game, though, Jazzy. So it's not like that's the reason anyone's losing here. It's just who has the better team fight.
No, you're absolutely correct. Both teams have been playing very decent macro game, getting their camps out when they should, as well as looking for opportunities when they do lose those objectives to open up the map. So it's definitely is coming down to team fights for the most part.
Yeah. Well, I let them know that we're ready. Looks like we're going to get into this final game for our first cast of Season 10. This Division East game of One More Fight versus Rise and Grind. And here we go. Tomb of the Spider Queen.
I like this map for casting because it's such a small map that there's always stuff going on.
Yeah.
Always people getting caught in rotations, like trying to defend the turn-in or get turn-ins. It's a fun map to cast.
So this is where the Johanna ban happens, and there it is.
Followed by the ETC.
Yeah, ETC ban coming in, unless they're hoping to get it. But if they're banning it from the other team, certainly with the other team having first pick, they'll want to take that away, and that is that. Curious if there's a Garrosh player on either team.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not too familiar with these teams, especially, like I said, new season, new stats, so I'm not sure, but we do see that KTZ ban getting taken away. I can't blame them for that. That does leave the Cassia up and available on the side of Rise and Grind if One More Fight doesn't first pick it here, so they have that option to take here, and it worked really well for them, and I think it could work well again, going Valkyrie and getting picks in the rotation. So I'm kind of excited to see if that shows up.
The Sylvanas ban is good too, with how they were playing with her on that first map, disabling structures and taking forts.
Absolutely.
Even when they didn't win objectives.
Yeah, they knew how to get value out of that Sylvanas tree, and they did a fantastic job doing that in game number 1.
Who's it gonna be? It's the Leoric. Love a Leoric on this map. All right, is that first pick material?
Well, I don't blame One More Fight for taking that Leoric here. We did see Rise and Grind ban it out from them, so there's a big possibility that come second ban phase, they ban out that Leo. So not a terrible idea to pick the Leo. They don't have last pick anyway, so they weren't going to be able to see the solo lane. I don't mind it.
We're seeing Muradin picked up though with Tassadar. Wasn't Muradin played by One More Fight last game?
Yeah, the last 2 games we've seen One More Fight pick up that Muradin, so they're going to have to change up their tank game here. I'm interested to see what they grab. Maybe you're right. Maybe it will be a Garrosh.
There is the KT again. Not a game gone without it. And the Vala one more time. So they must really like that matchup. I don't feel like we saw the damage that we needed coming out from those 2 in the last game, but they are not going against a KTZ with basically a countdown timer until everyone dies.
Yeah, exactly. So. The thing is with the Kael'thas Vala last game, and you have that Mal'Ganis KTZ to step up into to try and get damage done, a little scary and makes it a bit rough.
Yeah. So, final ban. Maybe they want to consider that Brightwing ban. Brightwing was able to sustain them quite well against the KT the first game. Instead, it is the Sonya. So, not a bad ban. I just think that this may possibly be the Brightwing pickup for Rise and Grind.
And there you are. That is that Brightwing being picked up by Life DG right now, and also the Thrall being grabbed for the solo lane, probably. There's still a chance he might roll with the 4-man based on this last pick, but likely probably going to see the Thrall in the solo lane match up against the Leoric.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see the Raynor again picked up alongside the Tassadar and have that Thrall in the off lane. Oh, we see a Varian, a taunt Varian most likely, as the Leoric is presumably the off lane. So
this might actually be really good for One More Fight, because one of the things we saw for both of these teams is a little bit of struggling on who to focus in these team fights. You have a taunt Varian, and it's very clear that is the target that needs to die. So this might work well for One More Fight. On the flip side, though, Varian typically not the best solo tank, just because his tool is that taunt, and once that's blown, he doesn't really have much utility to bring to a team fight. If you don't get a pick off that taunt, you're now just kind of left with a tank who doesn't really have much CC or anything much to bring to the fight.
He doesn't have an escape. They have a Brightwing. That's a insta poly. Go up to taunt, get polyed. Unless you're taunting the Brightwing, taunt cooldown. If the Brightwing doesn't die, get polyed after. It's a precarious situation for the Varian, but nonetheless, I'm excited.
I mean, once you have level 10s on board, you taunt someone, you have Rain of Vengeance, you already have the Kael'thas Gravity Lapse. If he goes for Pyro again, it might work, but mind you, you have that Brightwing spell armor. But at that point, I think they're low enough that even the spell armor is not going to keep them alive.
Ooh, it's going to be a spicy matchup, Jazzy. Let's get into introducing these teams.
On the left-hand side, we have One More Fight with Midnight Fire on the Leoric, Mistletoe on the Rhaegar, Newton Rocks on the Vala, Lord Gaiac on the Kael'thas, and Echo playing Varian.
And on the side of Rise and Grind, we have Azrael Abyss playing the Muradin, Eris on the Cassia, Brother Nature playing Tassadar, Life DG on the Brightwing, and Last Dispatch on Thrall. Just now noticing their mount synergy. Most players having a Pegasus or Unicorn, and Brightwing being a Pegasus or Unicorn. Interesting.
Yeah, very, very beautiful skin mount combos coming out of the side of Rise and Grind. Clearly thinking about really aesthetics on that side.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, we have the Leo and Thrall just starting right away in the bottom lane here. So skipping that 5v5 mid instead and just going 4v4 in the 1v1 in the bottom. Rotation's already starting up on the side of one more fight. They're a little bit ahead on clearing these lanes. Brightwing getting caught on this rotation here, but she is going to be able to back out. And now Varian looking to retreat. The thing with having a Varian on your team as your tank main in the early game is he really doesn't come online till that level 4.
Right. Yeah. But here come the living bombs again. Just spreading Brother Nature getting caught out, and that is first kill of the game. Tassadar fallen.
I'm curious to see.
Heaven.
I'm curious to see if we're going to see a lot more value out of Kael'thas's living bombs this game, just because it's such a small map with tight areas for rotation and turn-in. Whereas Dragonshire is a little bit more open, easier to dodge bombs when you're doing your rotation, or fighting in lanes, I should say.
Yeah, we're definitely going to see more value from it, especially with the Brightwing if she goes blink heal, having to blink to her teammates to get heals onto them.
Exactly, or just stand near them to get heals on them. Exactly.
They have to hug her. They're just waiting, to spread that. It's like the COVID of HOTS.
I don't know, wouldn't that be... Nah, I guess, yeah, it's a COVID of HOTS. I was like, well, what about Stukov's pustule? Seems a little more...
Yeah.
Alright, level 4s are up and available now, so that means Varian can get that taunt talent if he wants. He's got to be going taunt,
blades.
right? Yeah. No, there we go.
Taunt, yeah.
Does grab that taunt.
I don't know.
I feel like as soon as it's a target that's not Murden, he's just going to try and go for it. And I'm excited to see what happens.
He's looking. There was the Rhaegar Totem used, killed immediately though.
I'm going to take a peek in this solo lane for a second.
Maybe he wants to get a little bit more health and just rotate, wait to find someone. Oh, there he goes for the Tassadar. He only uses his E though, not the taunt.
Oh, I'm watching bottom lane because Rhaegar and I was in the bottom. Rhaegar and Leo were trying to get the pick on Thrall there for a second, and it looked like it was going to work out. But meanwhile, there's the top fight, and we lost Varian.
Yeah, I wasn't even following your camera. I'm a novice, and I was like just so enthralled with what was happening top. Essentially, a force wall was used. It was just a bad situation for Varian, and he died.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Typically, I really don't like playing with tank Varian comps because he just doesn't have as much survivability and utility as other tanks can bring to the game. It makes it really hard. We do see that Tassadar getting quite low there, backing up and managing to get a tap off. Midnight Fire come up for the rotation to see if they could get something there, and going right back down to soaking bottom. Both teams currently sitting on turn-in. Right now, one more fight. Has more gem turned in. We just see that taunt onto the Cassia, but not quite enough follow-up to do anything off of it. Tassadar stepping up here. He needs to be really careful. He's going to get chomped. The wall comes out.
See, the thing is, like, instead of using taunt on cooldown, had the Varian saved it, he could have then used it on that Tassadar, and that would have been a dead Tassadar. I think he needs to wait for his team to be with him to really capitalize on that ability.
And that's exactly my issue with a taunt Varian comp, is it takes a lot more coordination for your team, because it really relies on you being able to get a pick off that taunt. Otherwise, you're kind of left with a Varian who's just going to sit and auto attack. Like, that's all he's got.
Yeah, I want to see the taunt used. Hello, taunt, can you be used? Here comes the web weaver.
One second.
In favor of one more fight.
Taunt is up, taunt is up. It goes out onto the Brightwing. But again, not quite enough damage to follow it up. I think once we get level 10 here and we have the Reign of Vengeance and Kael'thas ult on top of that, we might be able to see a little bit more happening off these taunt plays. Like I said, definitely a viable strategy that can work, and I think it's great. Like you've mentioned before, Paradox using it as a training wheels comp for teams to focus targets. So maybe that's kind of what we're seeing. Fala getting really low here, that Q connecting onto her, stun connecting onto the Varian, and a wall kind of blocking him off from his teammates.
The thing that we need, though, from that is the communication of Varian saying, I'm looking at taunting this person. Taunt, gravity, lapse, blow up. But we're not seeing that.
Exactly, we're seeing taunts come out and damage not being close enough to follow up on it, or just barely getting there in time to maybe hit a couple autos and an ability off on the taunt target.
The night is still young on this map, though. That Webweaver phase is now over. And we're going to see Rise and Grind possibly look to get their turn in. Maybe they want to look for 10 before they get it. Not quite sure. They certainly don't want to see one more fight get 10. Hold on a second. Leoric getting caught out is able to make it out. And they do get that turn in, Jazzy.
Yeah, one more fight.
10.
One more fight picking up their bruiser camp here to kind of help defend this a bit. Midnight Fire needs to back, get some health, so he can probably look to go bottom to clean that up. But bruisers are going to kind of push out mid a little bit, maybe give them an opportunity to just clear top first and then rotate mid to clear there. Boss lane, very important lane on this map. Typically the one you see teams like to focus when they get these spiders here. So if they do get the advantage and take a boss, they already have top lane cleared out for it to go straight to keep.
Right. Well, here comes this Webweaver top. 2 members. Blue team at about half health. Chain heal coming out, trying to do what it can. There was a taunt on Brother Nature. Both assassins were just not close enough to really follow up there, but does not mean we will not see it.
Oh, absolutely. I think that they can definitely make this taunt strategy work. Like I said, level 10s, I think is what's going to do it.
Oh, and there's the Valkyrie with the Earthquake dropped, the Force Wall used, and Rhaegar is dead. And Tomb does get dropped down, but Archon has been popped, and Living Bombs are spreading between the whole red team, but Leoric falls instead. And that's 2 for nothing in favor of Rise and Grind here.
Beautiful Entomb coming out from that Leoric, but unfortunately just wasn't enough to stop the damage being dropped onto the Rhaegar after he got Valkyried in. They are looking to drop it off what gems they have now, so they're currently 45 gems of the 55 turned in for their next spider phase. Cassia going down to this bruiser camp, or siege camp now to pick that up and help get a little bit more pressure in the bottom lane.
Yeah, and turn-in is available for the side of Rise and Grind once more. All members are up from both teams. Very close in experience again for both sides. Looks like Midnight Fire is coming to check on the siege camp, but we do have the Cassia and Brightwing there. And here is another Webweaver phase for Rise and Grind, Jazzy.
It looks like they're going to be sieging down bottom this time. They have those siege giants to kind of pair with the spiders that they just got here. Or maybe not. Maybe they're just going to pull everyone from the bottom into the bottom lane while they go siege top.
All right, well, we're not mind readers, we're not psychics, and we can only speculate until we see what's happening. But yeah, Rise and Grind pushing top lane, Brightwing backing before phase shifting in most likely, unless she's saving it for when it's needed, which is probably smarter.
I don't know if that was intentional.
Float her way
that
there.
They all showed down there and then just immediately ran top to pull all of one more fight into the bottom lane for a defense, but it really worked out for them.
Here comes the phase shift with Rain of Vengeance already. Here's Valkyrie coming in, grabbing the KT, who does pop his shield, but Muradin is hot on his heels. Does land the kill, will fall himself here in the mix. Vala dies as well, and Varian is just caught in the middle of 4 team members from the side of Rise and Grind as they continue their onslaught here, deciding to go for a boss play.
Yeah, I think this is the perfect call coming out for the side of Rise and Grind. They just opened up that boss lane. Now cap the boss, look to push that in. Even better would have been that they had another turn in. But I think grabbing that boss off the map and just taking it away for the next 5 minutes is not a bad play. Yeah. What is the boss cooldown? Is it 5 minutes or 4? I don't know.
It looks like 5 minutes.
Okay, cool. I was pretty sure it's 5.
All right, turn in available for the side of one more fight. Leoric is bought on that fort, and there's a lot happening mid, Jazzy. KT gets caught out and killed.
Yeah, they are very close to having their own turn in, so I wouldn't count one more fight out of the fight yet. Because they only need a few gems, 9 gems turned in, and they can turn this back around, push out all the lanes, and look to secure some structures and some map pressure themselves.
Yeah, it just looked like maybe a little bit of miscommunication, having that KT got caught out there and killed. The rest of the team is clearing the boss, and now we are seeing, I mean, still we're seeing the turn in for the side of One More Fight, but are they going to be able to do it? Their bottom fort is rapidly falling. Rising Grind just taking structures left and right. Looks like One More Fight is going for their bruiser instead of turning in right away.
What I think is really interesting is Rhaegar's still choosing to take Bloodlust in this match. It's really just the Vala that's gonna get anything off that. I mean, Leoric did go auto attack build at 13, but I still feel like maybe just having that Ancestral in these fights would be able to turn the fights a little better.
Right. Looks like Blue is trying to get that turn in. They have 46 out of 55. Shade getting from there is the Entomb with the Dwarf Toss. Muradin goes in, and here's the phase shift onto the Thrall. But Living Bomb is a thing, and the Valkyrie does not connect with anyone. Varian just in the middle of his own team, not really looking at any team member in particular, throwing his W, sliding in onto Last Dispatch, but taking so much excessive damage from this Tassadar with his Archon popped. And Newton Rock's trying to get away on that Vala, but that root from the Thrall is devastating. Does not make it out. That is 2 for nothing here in this fight, and we are at 56 out of 60 gems for Rising Grind here if they want to go for that turn in.
Yeah, and then they're also sitting on their level 16 talents now. So we're going to see Tassadar having that percent damage is going to hit a little bit harder onto their front line now. Thrall also talenting into the slow on his Q as well.
Yeah, that was a pretty decent fight. And here is another Web Weaver phase. All forts down for the side of One More Fight. So this is a pretty big deal, having that level 16 talent tier advantage. Pushing with these Web Weavers, it's really putting One More Fight in a rough position.
You have Thrall looking to poke out a little bit of damage mid and keep that lane pushed out for when the spider arrives. I'm interested to see which lane they're going to choose to siege here. Kind of debated us last time sitting bottom, but then going straight to top, and it looks like they are going to go top again.
Yeah. Top is the lane for them. That Web Weaver bottom, though, will get some value if we see the defense from One More Fight heading top before going to bot. They do not have level 16 yet, so this is them just using their own keep as their only line of defense against this Web Weaver and the team. But hold on a second, Varian taking so much damage. That Force Wall used as Muradin jumps in, and here is the Pyroblast with the Spell Shield just saving the Tassadar. Valkyrie does connect with the Kael'thas, and he falls. And Midnight Fire is just in the middle of this Muradin and the Cassia. Able to just really zone him out.
Looks like One More Fight wasn't able to get One More Fight in.
Oh, Jazzy.
Actually, with Venus too much.
Whoa.
So it looks like they're going to go for this boss. It's up in 40 seconds, so they have to stand around waiting for a long time. I think maybe they thought it was up right away and they were heading up there. Yeah, I was almost expecting them to go core at that point, but I guess they were worried about death timers and it's just going to play the slow game. Grabbing their bruiser camp right now. Tass needs to be careful. He's getting quite low and he's tanking this here. He's going to be okay. And meanwhile, One More Fight just clearing out their lanes, pushing out. They still have, they're sitting 46 gems turned in, 47 gems on their teammates. So they have almost back-to-back turn-ins if they can manage to get the turn-in done. But they do need to do this before level 20s are hit on the side of Rising Grind, because once 20s are hit, it's going to be much more difficult for them to turn this game around. Yeah, with Tassadar backing, I thought maybe like if they show, they could get picked off, and this could turn it into One More Fight's favor. But still, Rising Grind, I don't know if they're looking to play for 20 before engaging, or if they're looking to just fight and deny that turn-in by killing the team pre-20. Looks like they're just being pretty aggressive with this cruiser camp in tow. I mean, yeah, you're right. There's a couple ways you can play this. You can just let One More Fight have their turn-in. Wait till you get that level 20. You still have all your forts up. The lanes are pushed. They're really not going to get too much value off of their turn-in if they don't get picks with it. Or, you know, you can look to defend these turn-ins before you get level 20 and avoid having to defend a turn-in at all. Both strategies can work. Especially since since Rise and Grind has been winning these team fights pretty frequently, I don't think they're afraid to take these fights before 20. Just if they do manage to get it, it's a little cherry on top.
Right, well, we do see one more fight rotating to the bottom turn-in point. 2 members have scouted the mountain. There is the Entomb, but the Dwarf Toss saves Muradin. He's able to jump right out of it. And there are interrupts for days coming out. Here's Valkyrie not connecting, but the Rain of Vengeance does, and Eris is looking low. Living Bomb spreading, and Pyroblast this time headed for Cassia, who does fall. Newton also will be one to fall. Gravity Lapse onto the Muradin, with Varian just sticking to his side. The Rhaegar is coming around from a flanking position, looking to heal his team, but that is another kill. Varian down. And although these bombs are spreading, we are getting kill after kill with 3 members to 1, favoring Rise and Grind here.
They also lost about 20 gems in that fight as well. Mind you, still have turn-in. They want to get it and can get it. But Rise and Grind also pushing towards turn-in right now. They have 20 turned in, currently have 31 on them. So they're not too far away from getting it themselves.
Now they're looking at this boss as 3 members are down for the side of one more fight. You want to get that out. If there is a turn-in, by chance that will be counter-pushing. And with as far as the waves are pushed out, the Webweaver phase just wouldn't get much value for one more fight anyway. And also they're 2 levels behind on the blue side. Not having 20, it would just be more of a defense turn-in than something that they could really push with. So there it is, the Webweaver phase.
That's exactly what it is at this point, is having this turn-in means that their lanes are going to be pushed out while they defend this boss. And a little bit of help from the spider for like a second before it dies.
And she gone. I can't do it, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Alright, boss approaching core. There's an Entomb that Muradin just walks right out of. I hear the Bloodlust, Jazzy. The Pyro, this time onto Thrall, who does have that spell shield. Rain of Vengeance falling, not really doing much of anything. Earthquake comes out, and Newton Rocks having been vault away into base. An attack from there. This boss is on core, and it is at 80%. Varian doing his best to get in and do some damage to taunt anyone, but not able to make it. He falls himself, and Newton Rocks on this Paula just cannot step out of base, having to just auto-attack and use abilities from inside of the core. Leoric falls as well, and that core is dead, Jazzy.
Absolutely. Well played to both teams here in this series. Really kept us on our toes the entire time. Yeah, I think just the variant just wasn't quite working out. They couldn't find their footing there and trying to follow up with those taunts. Like I said, definitely strategy that can work well, but you need that communication going out a lot of the times. Like in that last fight, you saw Varian taunt the Brightwing, but Leoric stepped forward and entombed a different target, and everybody else was on the entombed target. So yeah, it's just unfortunate. They just couldn't get it to work for them. But I think maybe going forward, if they practice it a little bit more, it's definitely a strategy that could work for them.
Yeah, essentially having the Muradin picked up by the side of Rise and Grind denied the tank that one more fight needed. And it seems like Echo had no choice but to pick a taunt Varian into a Brightwing, is what it looked like. And it just didn't work out. So I think we need to message the captain of Rise and Grind for an interview.
All right, give me a second and I will do that. Do they usually always interview?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I have a message sent to him. How do you typically do this? Is there an NGS channel for it?
Yeah, we just go into the NGS Discord, pick a channel, and meet them in there.
He wants to know anyone in particular. We'll just take the captain. That's
Usually
Eris.
the
They played
captain. Cassia.
Yeah. And then the Stukov. All right. All right, let's jump over into the NGS Discord, just like the chatter channels.
Yeah,
All
we
right,
can
we'll
just
go into
use any of the
lobby.
lobbies.
We'll go into lobby 1 here.
Perfect. Hello.
Congratulations on your win. You really turned it around there. Well played.
Hey, can you give me 1 second? I gotta switch the audio source on this.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
We'll start over.
Testing, testing.
Hello, can you hear us?
Yep, that's better.
All right, Jazzy, say it all over again.
All right,
Sorry about that.
congratulations on the win. Good job turning it around. Oh, really great games coming out from your side.
Thank you very much.
Love the Cassia. We were talking about Valkyrie in the early game of your first game, and saying we weren't sure how much value you were going to get from it. And as soon as we said that, all of a sudden you were just popping off, hitting Valkyries left and right, and it always seemed to be on Kael'thas, like every time. So I was really impressed.
Thank you. Yeah, they were. It was kind of a risky pick for me. I was thinking about Ball Lightning for a little bit, but I didn't see a lot of value there just because they didn't have that many melee, and I wasn't trying to get up in their face. But the Valkyrie did work out, so that was good.
Yeah, and you pulled it off again in the third game as well, getting some nice Valkyries there. What were you thinking going into game number 2? Did you think that the Leoric was really a big thing that you wanted to counter, or why target ban Leo over, say, like the Kael'thas?
I think based on like where the map was going, and also we knew we were trying to prioritize Rexar. We wanted to take the Leo out, especially after that like monster ult, the last fight of the first game that kind of just wrecked us.
Absolutely. But you did good going into the game 3 against them because they weren't able to get that level 20 for the silence on the Entomb, and you were able to end the game before that was even an option for them in team fights.
Yeah, that was definitely part of our priority there.
We also noticed in your games, you guys kind of switched around roles. You went on to healer in game 2. I think you had a different person playing tank. Do you guys have roles, or you guys kind of just all flex onto what's needed?
It's a little bit of both in that we can all kind of flex, but there's a few people that kind of prefer one or the other role, and what we kind of want to do is like play around them. So sometimes we might switch things up. That actually in the second game, that kind of role dispersion or whatever you want to call it was like kind of how we normally played in last season of Heroes Lounge. So we were comfortable doing that too.
Okay, well, it was really interesting to see you guys all just swap off. You seem like you are very flexible teammates in terms of roles being able to fill, and that's nice to see. Slexia, do you have any questions?
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about your team. Is this your first time playing an NGS, or
this
before?
is our first NGS season. We've played in 3 of Heroes Lounge, and we kind of just never knew that there was other leagues. But we heard about this through, I think, NyQuil. So
nice. Love NyQuil. Yeah, he's a great caster. Great dude. Awesome. Yeah, I think Jazzy really asked the questions that I had. I just want to know, what you guys are hoping for this season, who you think your biggest opponents are, if you've matched against them before in other leagues or anything like that. And then finally, if you have any shout outs, let us know what those are.
Yeah. So I think our goal, kind of just like with Heroes Lounge too, is we're not super competitive. I mean, obviously we like to win, but really we're kind of just like 5 friends hanging out, playing some HOTS, What was the second part of the question?
I don't remember. I don't know.
Something about the season, right?
Yeah, I do remember. What are your goals for the season? Like, who are your biggest competitors, do you think, based on your scouting or, what you know of the teams?
We don't actually recognize too many names in our division. I think we played one more fight before in a Heroes Lounge league, but we don't really recognize any of the other names in our division. But I mean, tonight's fight was pretty hard. You know, it was a tough first game, and then we tightened it up and came back in game 2 and 3. So hopefully the competition is similar. It was a fun game.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolute pleasure
Cool.
to watch and cast as well. Once again, congratulations, well played, and I hope you have the best of luck going forward in NGS this season.
Thank you. Oh, and
Shout
for
out
the-
time.
yeah, that is the one part I
Yes,
did
yes.
remember. So shouting out definitely let's see, Taylor Swift, some Carly Rae. I think I was listening to a lot of folklore during the games, so that, I don't know, helped win. Shout outs to NyQuil, and then everyone pour one out for the Mexican pizza from Taco Bell, because that's a big rip right there.
Impactful shout outs. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you so much. Good luck the rest of the season, and I hope to get to cast another one of your games in the future. Goodbye.
Thanks. Bye.
All right, let me just give Slexia a quick call back. Give me 2 seconds here to fix the camera for you. Oh, perfect. It worked right away. That's a
Perfect.
rarity. All right, that's going to wrap up the NGS cast for tonight. GG's to Rise and Grind. One more fight. Very well played. Impressed by both teams. And I got to say, I don't know that I didn't know what to expect going into these games. I've never really casted NGS. I didn't know how the divisions would look. And I think it was just a pleasure to see these games tonight.
Yeah, I was excited. I mean, for week 1, Division D, which is, a pretty low division, this was some top tier play, especially with the macro. I was very surprised.
Yeah,
Comfort picks went a long way too.
Yes, I was really impressed by the macro play. Like, I don't really know what to expect from these divisions. Like I said, I've watched a bit of NGS here or there, but I was really impressed with the macro plays coming up from both these teams as well. Yeah. I think that's going to wrap up my stream for the night. I'm cutting it short because typically I don't stream on Mondays, but I picked this game up to cast. So I appreciate you all joining me for this game tonight. If you're interested in catching me cast more games, I will be casting every single night this week. You can join my Discord. My schedule is posted there. I think tomorrow's is at 9 p.m.
Tomorrow you're
Actually,
casting my game.
Tomorrow I'm casting Slexia's game, and it's at 9 p.m. Pacific time. So if you want to catch me casting more games, that's going to be tomorrow. Versus Soak Every Lane, I believe.
Yep, that is correct.
You guys are Division B?
It is B West.
B West.
Or the West.
The West. Yeah, so you
I
can
don't
catch
know. I
that.
just made that up right now. I don't know.
You can catch me casting their game tomorrow at 9 p.m. Pacific with Dax, actually. He's going to be joining me. And then Wednesday, I cast again, I think like 7. And Thursday, I'll be casting again at 7 or 8. It's all on my
With
Discord.
me.
Yeah, with Slexia
Casting
again.
together again Thursday.
Thursday,
yeah, for heroic division
Thursday,
game.
yeah, Thursday. I'm excited about. We're going to be doing our heroic division game, so that one should be a little bit higher tier play coming out. Not that tonight
Right.
wasn't. I was still, like I said, still very impressed by
Right,
the
it was
plays
great.
coming tonight. So yeah, make sure to hit that follow button if you guys are interested in catching more casts. If you guys didn't see the update in my Discord, I'm going to be casting a lot more going forward. I think just personally, I'm having a lot more fun casting the game than I am playing it these days. So I'm going to be trying to grab as much casts as I think I can handle. So like I said, all this week, you guys can catch me casting in the evenings. And then, yeah, for the rest of the season of NGS as well. But this week is packed full. All right.
Perfect.
Other than
Well,
that,
what a way to
Slex-
start the season.
Yes, Lex, you wanna talk a little bit about you? Give yourself a shout out for coming to help me cast my first game.
Sure.
Just getting
Hi, I'm Slexia.
the famous NGS caster Slexia on my very first NGS cast in here. No big deal.
Oh, please, famous. Yeah, right. But if you want to help make me famous, just kidding. Just if you want to follow me, you can go to twitch.tv/Slexia or on Twitter @Slexia3. Or you can check me out with Jazzy occasionally casting here, occasionally playing in Girls Gang Squad, or sorry, we can't talk about that, right? My bad. Or casting with her in other tournaments. Jazzy, break the awkward silence. Anyway, thanks for having me. Tell us about yourself. Just kidding. I don't know what to say now. I'm done. Thank you
All right,
so much
guys.
for having me.
Thanks so much for hanging out. Don't forget to hit that follow button if you enjoy Heroes of the Stormcast. We'll see you tomorrow, 9 p.m. Pacific time. Have yourselves a wonderful rest of your week. And goodbye.